Welcome. I want to welcome you to our health talk tonight on women's issues and hormones. We have a lot of information to share with you this evening, and I'm going to have our holistic nutritionist, Marilyn Vandenbrink, start out the evening. Mary Ellen, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
There goes. Thank you so much, Nada. Fortunately, back 27 years ago, you introduced a coworker of my husband's, and that's how I first heard about Neolife. We were actually having dinner at her place, and she was always tired and run down, and I just thought it was because she had 3 little kids. And we went to see her this time, and she's just glowing in energy. And that's a big problem with a lot of moms, being fatigued and tired, but I couldn't believe the difference in her. So I was a concerned mom at the time. I had 2 boys, and one of them had a lot of respiratory issues. So I was looking for something to boost his immunity and help him out. And so we got started on the products, and not that they cured anything or prevented any disease, but what I found was that it balanced their immune system. And my son, who had the respiratory issues, did so much better. My other son focused better in school. But for me, I had an issue that migraine headaches. And a lot of that is linked to hormones and cycles and everything. And once I got myself balanced and I got rid of the migraines that I suffered from my whole life. So I got super, super excited. So tonight we're going to talk about women and hormones. We've got some great testimonies. We're going to share some diet information, some information to help fill the gaps in our diet. And we will be talking a little bit because men do have hormones too. So what's the key to optimal health? Well, the foundation is diet, and we're going to focus a lot on that tonight. Weight management. When you are heavier, you do have more estrogen cells, so that's why it can play a role in especially estrogen dominance and physical activity, because you have to move your body. You sweat, it helps detox the body and keeps us healthy. So what do we need to know? What we know we need to do. First of all, we have rest. There's no substitute for rest because sleep helps regenerate us, helps us feel better. We need, as I mentioned, we need to exercise. We need to drink enough pure water. Very, very important. We can't absorb nutrients. We can't do anything without enough water in the body. And a little tip that I tell a lot of my clients is to do a very gentle, like liver gallbladder cleanse. Is first thing in the morning when you wake up, get a glass of either room temperature or warm water, squeeze up to half a lemon in it, and drink it, and wait about 20 minutes. So go have your shower or do something that you need to do, and then before you eat. And by doing that, it does give a great little detox on the body. So what are 10 of the major factors that cause us to age? Well, if we don't have the right nutrients. And we found that out too from the Lancet study that we cite a lot about. The fact is what we're missing in our diet. Being overweight, again, or obese, too much alcohol, again, that robs us of nutrients, unhealthy fats, the trans fats and the bad fats, too much sugar. Sugar is very oxidative to the body. Stress, lack of sleep, again, inactivity, smoking, too much sun. Even our genetic makeup can play a role, because oftentimes, especially let's say if your mom goes into early menopause, often you will go into early menopause, and pollution. So when we're in late adolescence and early adulthood, to talk about some of the young women, what are they concerned about? Well, I know the girls that I deal with, that they want nice skin, they want nice hair. It's so important to them. And again, that's all linked to our overall inner health, makes such a role. They want to build a solid foundation for future health, because especially, if they're going to eventually become pregnant or that, they have to make sure that they're healthy. And you want to do that before you become pregnant. It's so important to do that. So what are some of the lack of the nutrients that we have in our diet? Well, studies are showing adolescents, as you can see, aren't getting enough fiber, potassium, vitamin E, iron, A. They're very, very deficient in many, many nutrients. And now we're going to talk a little bit about pregnancy and lactation, because this is a very important time for mom and baby to be healthy. So at this time, the critical things are lipids and sterols, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Those are the good fats from whole grains. vitamins, trace elements, minerals, omega-3s, very, very important, and protein. And then once we get more mature, we have different needs as well at that time as a woman. Some of the things that are helpful are to eat more of those dark color fruits and vegetables. You know how we say you need 8 to 13 servings every day? We need more foods high in fiber, grains, beans, nuts, and seeds. They do a couple functions, not only for regularity, but they also help to flush toxins out of the body. Eat more fatty fish like wild salmon, very important. And cutting back on coffee, especially some people are sensitive to coffee. Coffee does deplete us of minerals. And as we get older, you know, we need more calcium for our bones and prevention of osteoporosis. So in 2019, I was very excited when they improved the Canada Food Guide. And as you can see, half of our plate should be all those dark colored fruits and vegetables. And we want to eat a quarter of good quality protein foods and choose whole grain foods, which we'll talk more about, and make water our drink of choice. And now I'd like to introduce Nada so she can share with us that Lancet study that was done in 195 countries around the world, showing what we aren't eating is killing us, as well as some of the things we are eating, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mary Ellen. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Nada St. Germain, and this Lancet study, when it was released recently, it brought me back to 33 years ago, believe it or not. That's when I was introduced to Neolife. And one of the challenges I had through my teens and in my 20s was I really struggled with my cycle. A lot of pain, a lot of irritability, weakness. I would even faint many of times at that time of the month. And I didn't understand that it was the nutrients that were missing from my diet. And when I, got introduced to Neolife, it was mainly for my hormonal balance and my fatigue. And by filling the nutritional gaps, what a difference it made. And this Lancet study that talks about the greatest deficiencies in our diet, and one of them is whole grains, okay? Our grains are milled and processed. They started processing and milling our grains back in the 1940s. So our grains, again, are no longer whole. They had to find a way to make our foods last longer on the shelf. So those lipids and sterols, they've been stripped from our whole grains. And this is why we're tired, why there's so much more PMS and hormonal imbalances. And you're going to hear a lot of incredible stories this evening on how just filling the nutritional gaps can really have an impact on regulating and balancing your hormones. Because again, our grain oils are gone. Breads, pastas, cereals, all our grain products have such a long shelf life. And there was a doctor that made a powerful statement. And he said that essential fatty acid deficiency is perhaps the most important health problem in America. And that was done by a statement said by Dr. Segal. So how do we get these grain oils back into our diet? This is something that Neolife developed back in 1958 with those grain oils. And they're in this little convenient pack called Pro Vitality. So I'm going to talk about these different nutrients that are in the pack, but the foundation is that tran N grain concentrate. And then there's fruits and vegetables, which are your carotenoids, and your omega-3, which is your fish oil, and a multivitamin. So I like to call this little Pro Vitality pack like a Cadillac of multis, okay? But those grain oils are critical for cell function. We have trillions of cells, and the basic function of a healthy cell is like that one on the left, nutrients going in and waste going out. Well, that cell membrane is what controls nutrients going in and waste going out. So if you're not getting those grain oils in your diet, the membrane is not healthy and all the nutrients are not able to get in. So the membrane is kind of sticky, it's hard, it's not permeable. And this is one of the reasons why we have so many challenges with our hormones. So where do you get these oils? Well, again, Neolife developed tran N grain concentrate back in 1958, but it's made from grains that are not genetically modified. And that's really important. Helps with PMS, stress, hormonal balance, fatigue, nutrient absorption. Again, just getting your cells working properly. Okay, so tran N feeds the cells. And Texas A&M University, they did a study and they proved that the nutrients in your cell will absorb 50% more. okay, through that cell membrane, okay? So the next nutrient is carotenoid complex. And those are your fruits and vegetables that Mary Ellen said we should be eating, what, 9 or 10, 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. It's a challenge to get those dark colored fruits and vegetables, and they really help to slow aging. They protect your cells. Really important. I like to say they protect you from rusting from the inside out, okay, to help to slow aging. And one of these capsules in every box is like consuming 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables after 1 month. Okay, so it's a lot. And it was proven to boost your immune system 37% in just 20 days. So again, really important for your immune system, allergies, your eyes, and just giving your body the best chance to fight things off. Then there's our salmon oil. Our fish oil, omega-3, it's high potency, pure Atlantic salmon, cold pressed, and it helps with so many things in your body. And it does even help with balancing and regulating your hormones as well, because again, reducing inflammation is the key. But it's screened for over 200 potential contaminants with an allowance of 0. So no mercury, no lead, no chemicals, pesticides or herbicides. And it was clinically proven, again, to reduce the inflammatory index by 38%, by 68%. But what's really cool, your cholesterol, triglycerides, all of that, as sometimes as we get older, these are some of the challenges that occur. But again, reducing inflammation plays such a big role in our body as we age, as well as women and men. And again, Mary Ellen said that men have hormones too, right? So our fish oil was also featured in the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. They recommended the Neolife salmon oil because of the lack of chemicals and toxins. So safe for mom, safe for baby, safe for pregnancy. And this is one of the reasons why I was so grateful during my pregnancies that I was able to take these products during my pregnancy, and then when my babies were born. These were safe products, again, because of the purity and the safety of the products. So the last nutrient, it's a multivitamin mineral supplement. Again, 21 micronutrients. So to fill those nutritional gaps. And this is really important, again, to help everything work better, helps with enzyme activity, digestion. So I like to call this like a Cadillac of multis, because you're not just getting a multivitamin. So you're getting your grain oils, you're getting your fish oil, right? You're getting your fruits and vegetables, all in a convenient pack. And I would actually like to call Shelley. Shelley Sheridan is going to introduce Cody, because she has a powerful testimonial with Tran and regulating and helping with the hormones. So Shelley Sheridan.
Thanks, Nada. Absolutely. I met Cody about a year ago, and she's been on the products, and she was just sharing about, her energy and not really taking as good care as she wanted to. So maybe I'll have her share just at that time, what she was doing or not doing, and how she introduced the Pro Vitality and how she felt after it. So Cody.
Hey, Shelley.
Hi.
Yeah, so I've been on the products for a little over a year now, and I just started out with the basic Pro Vitality, and I really started to see a difference. But a couple of months ago, I went off of birth control and realized how messed up and unbalanced my hormones were. So I've had, I guess I'll start with like my cycle story, which when that time comes around, I am in horrendous pain. I am bedbound for 3 days. It is long and heavy, and I get digestive issues. I can hardly eat anything. Sometimes I get lightheaded. And along with that, just kind of feeling depressed. So yeah, that is kind of my story. But just this past month, I had a conversation with Nada. She called me, and we have actually pretty similar stories. And she said to add in a few extra TriNNs. So for the past month, I've been taking around 3 to 4 TriNNs a day, and that has totally shifted my experience with my period. It is well, I'm on day 3, and I went for a 3-hour walk with a friend, and I experienced slight discomfort, but nothing compared to what my last cycle was like. And to say the least, I feel functional. So my hormones were pretty much running me. And now I feel like with these products, along with other cycle syncing habits with fitness and self care, I have enhanced my well being 110%, and how I feel in my body.
That's wonderful, Cody. And I think that goes to show that, you know, these products are amazing and take time to kind of adjust your hormones. And maybe you need to add a little bit more in certain areas. But you've had a lot more energy than when I first met you as well. So
Oh
thank
yeah, I'm not 100% yet, but my hormones are very happy, and so am I.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think we might have to get Caroline. Caroline could mute, or if Renata could mute. There seems to be a lot of noise there.
Okay, I just muted everybody again because somebody joined us, but thank you. Cody, so wonderful to know you. I remember, like I said, for me, that was 33 years ago. And when you were sharing your personal experience, it brought me back to, you know, my late teens and into my 20s. And I remember when I worked at a fitness club for a little while, and I remember just struggling and not being able to exercise or you know, yeah. So yeah, Tran was my lifesaver too. So I was so happy to share that with you, and just giving the body those key nutrients, right? That's all we're doing. It's not a cure for anything. It's just that our hormones need certain nutrients, and Marilyn's going to go into a lot more detail on these key nutrients, which we call the hormone recipe. But the Tran grain concentrate is the foundation, okay, that helps to regulate hormones in so many different ways, adrenal glands, our thyroid, all of that. So absolutely fantastic. So yeah, one of my favorite products is Tran. And some of you know my sister's story. She didn't have a cycle for a few years. And, you know, and she was really worried. She wanted to start a family, and we put her on the grain oils. And anyway, she had her first baby at 40 and second at 42. And her cycles were regular and normal ever since. So amazing product, getting that the Tran into your body. And then there's the Neolife Shake. And, you know, this is such an important nutrient to add as well. Most people start their morning with a carbohydrate, and that was me. I wasn't eating a good quality protein. You know, I'm going to have Mary Ellen maybe jump in now as a holistic nutritionist and share your knowledge and the importance of good quality protein and why it's so important to have protein, especially to start your morning, especially our kids, and how it plays a role in regulating hormones.
Yeah, that's very true, Nada, because we need all 22 amino acids. They're for building and repair of healthy tissue, and even to make proper hormones. You can't make a hormone. You need the lipids and sterols, the essential fats from the oils, and then you connect with an amino acid, and that produces the prostaglandin, which is a precursor for a hormone. So you think if you're missing that, that's why people have so many issues. And these amino acids are also important for digestion, you know, for enzymes, because especially too, a lot of people get bloating and discomfort, antibodies. So for our immune system, so important. And as I mentioned, our hormones and even the collagen in our skin. And there's a lot of hype right now about these collagen shakes and how, but when you listen to John Miller, he actually explained that collagen is not a complete protein and is actually lacking one of the essential amino acids that's so important. And just by taking collagen, your body won't build skin. Your body builds skin from all 22 amino acids. It needs complete. And then very important too is controlling blood sugar levels, especially too for women, because if our blood sugar is off, it knocks everything off in our bodies. And it's totally all natural, the Neolife Shake, which I love. Has all 22 amino acids. It has a very high protein quality score of 1.73, which means that it's absorbed well in the body and it's good quality protein. 18 grams per serving, because you need like 18 to 25 in a serving. Branched chain amino acids. It has 5 grams of fiber, which fiber is very important. As we'll talk a little bit more about that, but especially for flushing out the bad estrogens in the body. Control glycemic response, 25 essential vitamins and minerals, and whole food antioxidants. So it's a powerhouse. And it doesn't have any artificial anything. And it's so safe. You can see this was Nora and Avery when Nora was just a year old and she was getting ready to go to daycare. And she would have her as soon as she could drink out of that sippy cup, she was drinking her shake. And all 4 of my granddaughters have been on the shake, and not one of them's ever been on antibiotics. And as you can see, there's no artificial anything. It's a very, very safe product for everyone. And the key that makes it very unique is the fact it has this glycemic response. Because when you get up in the morning and you have cereal, toast, or a carbohydrate, your blood sugar will spike up like that red line. Then what happens is the body compensates and says, danger, danger, blood sugar is too high. So then it brings it down. It secretes insulin. Well, when it does that, usually it brings it too low, right? So then you're bottoming up. That's when you're shaky, hungry, irritable. And then you're on this roller coaster all day long. And if you secrete insulin, all of a sudden you start storing fat. So what this does, it prevents fat storage, fat burning, and gives us energy all day long. So, so important. And it's a great program. If you do need to lose a little bit of weight, you can use it 2 ways. You can do a shake in the morning with a healthy snack, and then a shake at lunch, or some people switch the lunch and dinner up. You can do it either way, and a healthy snack. And that's for more aggressive weight loss. If you just have 5 or 10 pounds to lose, you can just do the shake in the morning and a healthy lunch, and it works very well as well. And it was clinically proven to reduce body size. This study was done on 68 people over 12 weeks on humans. And it did reduce waist, hips, arms, body fat reduction went down 10%. There was cardioprotective benefits. It reduced triglycerides, so many benefits. Yeah, 15% reduction in the LDL. So it hit thing. And here's some amazing stories. You can see here's Alan. Alan wasn't really overweight, but you can see once he started doing the shake, it gave him the energy to work out better, and he became more toned. He actually has 6 children that he takes care of with his wife. And this is Gabby. This is Ada's sister, and she lost 34 pounds in the weight loss. She was a young mom of 30 years old when her husband passed away at 40 from complications of diabetes. And so she wanted to get herself in shape, and she did so, and so that she could take care of her kids. And then she helped her mom. And her mom lost 20 pounds just on the breakfast pack. And her doctor was actually able to get her off her medication for diabetes, cholesterol, and reflux because she did so well with lifestyle changes. And then this is Carlos. He's lost over 250 pounds. And when I met Carlos, I said, Carlos, a lot of people are afraid to lose weight because their skin gets saggy and everything. He said, I lost my fat, but I didn't lose the muscle. So he also improved his health tremendously once he lost all that weight and on the thing. And so the basic hormone recipe is the breakfast pack, because of course you need the Pro Vitality for those essential fats and the protein shake to make the hormones. Some women, if you're low in iron, if you're anemic or you have heavy menstrual cycles, you might want to add some Formula 4 with that, because 2 capsules is 25 milligrams of iron, and it's very absorbable iron that does not cause constipation. And then CalMag and multi-mineral are also very helpful as well. So here's some of the conditions that we can deal with. This is what Nada, you were talking about, menorrhea, where you have excessive, heavy bleeding. So one thing that I find works really well to add to the breakfast pack is the vitamin E. It has a big role in balancing hormones. And also during pregnancy too, it's good as well. And I hear this syndrome, it's called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I'm hearing it more and more. And basically what happens in this is Women often are put on metformin because they have blood sugar issues. They sometimes get facial hair because their testosterone levels are too high. And it's actually caused from estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance can be from things in our environment, and it can cause things. So it causes the estrogen levels to get way, way too high. And then it just knocks the whole body off. And we've had very good results with the basic hormone recipe. And actually, Nada, you want to introduce Shelley to share a story here?
Yeah, I know Shelley has another young girl that has had amazing results with the breakfast pack, and I think some other products. So maybe Shelley, if you want to introduce Cheyenne and share her story, another powerful story.
Yeah, sure, Nada. Yes, I met Cheyenne actually when she was cutting my hair. Wonderful beautician for doing that. And we were chatting and she was sharing some of her health concerns and just how she was tired and anxious. So Cheyenne, can you share a little bit about just how you felt before starting the Pro Vitality and the shake, and then how you felt after?
Hi. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I was struggling a lot with fatigue, excessive fatigue, and I was really tired all the time. I wasn't sleeping properly. I swear I was waking up more tired than when I went to bed, and I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. I had kind of developed anxiety over maybe the last 4 or 5 years, and it was getting progressively worse, and it was becoming. I was having panic attacks pretty much weekly once I had met you and started kind of chatting to you about that. And they were kind of coming out of nowhere. There was no rhyme or reason to it. So that was really hindering in a lot of ways. So I started on the breakfast pack and I added in 1 extra TriNN with Cell Function. And pretty much immediately for me, truthfully, like I noticed energy right away. Within a couple of weeks, I noticed I was sleeping better, and I just had more energy. I felt a lot better. And with my anxiety, I kind of clued in after about a month of being on the products. And I realized, oh my gosh, I haven't had a panic attack in a month. And that was unheard of for me for probably about a year. It had been so consistent that it was, becoming a weekly thing. So I've added in a few things now because I do have a couple other autoimmune disorders that we're going to talk about, but I've been on the products now since February and I have not had a panic attack since March. So by balancing my hormones, that made a huge impact for me for both energy and anxiety.
Absolutely. And you had just mentioned about, your other conditions that you're kind of dealing with, and just how the improved energy has made a difference. If you're comfortable sharing, a little bit about the energy as well for.
Yeah, for sure. So I have 2 other things. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis and I have PCOS that Mary Ellen just mentioned. And energy is definitely a huge thing for both of those disorders. And that's probably where majority of my lack of energy was coming from. So by balancing my hormones through the Pro Vitality, the shakes, and the extra TriNN, I had huge success with that. And then with the polycystic, I had actually stopped getting a cycle for about 6 months, and I didn't really know what was going on initially. And I went to my doctor, and of course, birth control was the solution. So I was on birth control for about a year while also starting on the breakfast pack. And I never felt, I had tried birth control a few years before and I never felt good on it. And this time was no different. Now I did start getting a cycle, but to me that felt more like a Band-Aid. It wasn't really finding out the core problem. So I think it was in September, I decided to make the decision to go off birth control and just strictly up my vitamins in a few different areas and support my body that way. And I have now had a proper cycle since. So October, November, December, and January, I've gotten a proper cycle without being on birth control. So that shows right there, my hormones are balancing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so exciting to hear. And so important for people to hear that there are options, that your body can can use the nutrients, as Mother Nature intended, right, Nada?
Absolutely. And, balancing hormones, your thyroid, all of that. When you mentioned things like Hashimoto's, the same thing. I mean, we have so many women that, it doesn't cure or, like it's not a Band-Aid. You're giving the body the proper nutrients to rebuild cells and regulate hormones, which is amazing. All right. Thank you so much for sharing, ladies. And thank you, Mary Ellen. And I know Marilyn's got more information. Women are quite complicated. A lot
That's
of
true.
stuff Marilyn's going to share.
Just go back to infertility, Nada.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and it's so true, because when our hormones are off, we are a wreck, like we just can't do anything. And infertility is also a big issue that a lot of women have. And if it is just a hormonal imbalance that's causing it, the Formula 4 is great. I have had some women do Candida cleanses, because if there's Candida issues, that can definitely inhibit people from getting pregnant. So there's a few things we can do there. As long as it's not a physical, can you go back, Nada? Oh, there, okay. Yeah, okay, and go forward now, that's good. Yeah, so PMS is a big issue. It's, I know people say they just have no control, they just feel irritable, they're craving chocolate and sweets. That's because your magnesium levels go very low with that. So the breakfast pack helps that. Sometimes you do need a little bit more magnesium, and B complex is very, very helpful. Gives you the energy and helps you deal with it. For acne, a lot of times it can be Candida issues causing skin issues, but often vitamin A and acidophilus make a huge difference when you add a little bit more of that with the breakfast pack. Bowel irregularity, acidophilus, aloe, and fiber are wonderful for that. And a lot of women do get constipated around their cycle if they do, especially if they have a bit of endometriosis, which is actually excessive Candida. So that can cause a lot of issues as well. Sinus problems, that was me, major sinus headaches all the time. And I found once I got on the products, added a bit of vitamin C, and I also found a yeast cleanse also helped with my sinus issues as well. Heart palpitations, that's a big one, especially a lot of women when they start going through menopause. And the CalMag and B complex, or even the magnesium, are very helpful for that. For the headaches, that was me too, the migraines. The salmon oil played a huge role, and omega-3s play a big role in hormonal balance as well. Because I know I've seen a lot of testimonies on Hashimoto's, and adding extra omega-3 plays a big role with that as well. Forgetfulness, I know they have brain fog. Again, the hormone recipe is good for that. Sometimes that's Candida too, can cause that. And also, if you get more energy and it's sleeping better, that helps a lot with the forgetfulness too, and stress, right? Low libido, a lot of women, no sex drive at all. And that can be for men as well. And the vitamin E is very helpful for women in the B complex. For men, the male herbal complex is very effective for helping balance their hormones. For endometriosis, that's very, very painful. And it actually, often what they sometimes do is put people into a fake menopause, because once those bits of tissue stop bleeding, then because they kind of go all over the body. Again, vitamin E and a yeast cleanse, very important for that, and carotenoids, because it's a bit autoimmune as well. Fibroid tumors, I had one woman, she actually had very painful fibroids. And again, once she got on the basic program, it had vitamin E, carotenoids, and tray, and made a huge difference. Ovarian cysts, you need more carotenoids and tray. And the protein shake, I've had really good results. I had one girl who had a couple that were bursting, and with her, even adding the extra protein made a big difference with her. So again, it depends kind of what you're missing. So polyps, that can be an issue as well. I think extra carotenoids for sure for that, especially if you're getting a lot of polyps, and the hormone recipe. Depression, very, very common. Super B, aloe, and extra salmon oil do play a big role. It's often from an inflammation of the brain. So, and urinary tract infections, the yeast cleanse is helpful, plus vitamin A and tray also are good. I had one lady who every month she got urinary tract infection. She was on medication for years, and she did the Candida cleanse, and I think that was 15 years ago, and she hasn't had a urinary tract infection since. and yeast, many problems that yeast is involved. That's like we could do a whole hour just on candida and the problems with that. And then menopause, I know when I went through menopause, about 47, 48, the same age as my mom, and my mom had a terrible time with it. She had hot flashes and moody, and I sailed through it. And people say to me, "Oh, aren't you lucky?" And I say to them, it's not luck. It's the fact is I have a healthy lifestyle, and I supplement and fill the gap of what my body's missing, because I know if I didn't, I would have been exactly the same as my mom, right? But things that help with that are EEB, CalMag, feminine herbal complex. If you have really bad hot flashes, improving digestion is very helpful. And at this time, I'd like to call a dear friend. I met Joanne Watson. She was a friend of Susan Faulkner's, and she has a really unique story about menopause. Joanne, would you want to unmute yourself so you could share your story for us?
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yep, great. Hi, as Mary Ellen said, my name is Joanne Watson. So I met Susan, a friend of mine, and she was telling me about some products she was taking. And I was really intrigued because she said they were helping her. And I'm like, okay, maybe they can help me. I had done the health food store, naturopath, anything I could get my hands on. Nothing seemed to help. I was suffering from a lot of headaches, and I found taking the products, I was able to get rid of my headaches. My kids started feeling they were healthier. I started having, prior to this, I was having early menopause symptoms in my late 20s, which was kind of rare. I begged my doctor to give me the test, and he says, "Oh, they're going to think I'm crazy. This doesn't happen when you're young like this." But I had all the anxiety, the hot sweats, night flashes. I was a mess. So I had good relief from the supplements that I had taken, but I was taking hormone replacement. And I was on that for about 4 years. And the doctor had said, "You got to get off this," because I was in my 30s. And he said, you have to get off of it because it's cancer risk. So I like, well, how can I cope? Like, I need this, because I felt better on it, but there's something was missing a little bit. So I spoke to you, Mary Ellen, and others, and I got on a lot of the more products, and I found that it took me about 6 months. But I weaned myself off the hormone replacement. So that was wonderful. And I feel better now. The hormone replacement was fine. Like it suppressed the hot flashes and whatnot. But the supplements are much better. I do find though, if I stop taking a supplement, I forget or run out, or I try and trick my body and stop taking it, it knows and it reminds me, and the hot flashes come back. And so I'm definitely staying on them. I'm 54 years old, not on any medication. So I'm just thrilled to be on a lot of the products for so many years. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Joanne, because I know you were very concerned when you were told you had to go off that hormone replacement therapy. You were just saying, like, I'm not even going to be able to function.
Yeah.
And I guess in your 20s, it's very rare to go into menopause, but if you get glandular failure, it can hit at any time, right? That's why it's so important for us to support our glands, especially when we're going through menopause.
Does that have anything to do with estrogen too, Mary Ellen?
Yeah, low estrogen levels, but I think it's because her glands weren't producing them,
Okay. So the products just naturally help to get her estrogen levels at a normal functioning, especially when you're in your 20s, right? That's kind of...
It started feeding her glands, right? Because remember, the adrenal activity comes up. Because as we go through menopause, what's supposed to happen is your adrenal glands are supposed to produce substitutionary estrogen as the ovaries and the things shut down, right? But you think that the adrenal glands are stress glands. So if you're under stress or they're exhausted or depleted, your body can't produce that substitutionary estrogen. So a hot flash is created when your body's searching for estrogen. That's what causes the surge, right? So that's why it's so important. So yeah, and I remember Don Lawson used to say, if your hormones or if your body's got strong support, you'll go through menopause and it's just like a switch, clicks on, and that's it. You have no side effects at all. But if you don't have the right nutrients, that's when, you have the hot flashes and you cry all the time and you feel a wreck. Because when our hormones are out of whack, we definitely feel like we're a wreck. So that's definitely what happens. And osteoporosis, 1 in 4 women will be diagnosed with osteoporosis. That's low bone density. And getting a blood test is useless because your body will steal the calcium from the bone to keep the blood level, but that's how the bones get depleted. That's why it's called the silent disease. So the CalMag is very, very important for that. And our vitamin D is very, very important for that as well, because they're actually showing up to 90%, 7% of Canadians are low in vitamin D. So that's probably why our osteoporosis rates are so high too. Breast cancer, that's again, misfiring of the immune system. Cruciferous is very important because it neutralizes the bad estrogen. B vitamins, detoxify the liver. Our 3-day detox is great. To help prevent that is to get those toxins out, because a lot is environmental toxins. Carotenoids and TREA are very, very helpful. So I talked about a lot of different conditions and things, but when you're looking at supplements, because a lot of people say, well, I tried acidophilus, I tried Samanol, I tried this, but it didn't work. Well, the reason for that is, all supplements are not the same. And that's what I found when I took my holistic nutrition course. Even when something's a professional line or looks really good, it still doesn't mean that it's whole food and that it actually is absorbed in the body. And researchers found that from 2007 to 2016, there were 776 products marketed as dietary supplements with hidden and active ingredients that were unsafe or unstudied. And you can see too, just because people say, well, if it's in a store, it should be safe. Well, GNC was accused of selling adulterated herbals. There was speed-like ingredients in the vitamin shop. GNC had drug spike dietary supplements. There's been all sorts of problems. And the University of Guelph in Canada even went into all the health food stores and drugstores and tested the products back a while ago, and not a single one met a label claim. So that's really the big difference with Neolife, because I know when I was introduced, the fact they've been around since 1958 and never had a dietary recall is huge. Like, it makes such a difference. And they do have a pharmaceutical license for manufacturing. Every single ingredient is tested. They're in over 55 countries around the world and approved by every single health board. They're an industry and the pioneer in nutrition, and they've got an amazing scientific research team. And they have a long, rich heritage. You can see this was the Formula 4 back in 1958. This was the very first product that Neolife had, and it came about from a hospital study on people with chronic fatigue. And they tried vitamins, minerals, everything, but it wasn't until they put that grain oil back into their diets that they regained their energy and their hormones balanced. And that's why it's been in Formula 4 back since 1958. And we were one of the first companies to produce protein supplements as well. And every ingredient is non-GMO. And that's very, very important, because a lot of the genetically modified ingredients cause a lot of havoc on our stomachs and our digestion. So it's so important that our products are not changed. And what they basically do is every plant or animal source ingredient is identity preserved. So they go right back to that seed stock, and they know even from the seed to make sure that there is no genetically modified ingredients in the product. And a lot of people say, well, what do I look for in a supplement? Well, you want to make sure that it's from whole food. As you can see, there's a lot of natural products, things out there. Sheep fur from a lot of the vitamin D's, algae, pine bark. But in that study Nada was talking about, she says, what are we lacking in our diet? Whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and wild salmon. And that's what Neolife products are made from. And the reason they have this high quality control is because of our scientific advisory board. Dr. Furst is one of the top toxicologists in the world, and that's why our products are so pure. And he was actually a co-founder of oral chemotherapy, and when he's doing his research in cancer, he found that nutrients in food prevent disease. So that's why he joined up with Neolife in the 1970s, and he set up our prestigious scientific advisory board that's involved in the research and development of the products, not just a good-looking doctor who endorses it. And that's why you can be sure 100% what's on the label on our products is in the bottle and nothing else. And also what's in the bottle actually gets into the body. And you want to make sure there's some really good peer review, independent studies done on the products. And Neolife has been published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition. Our salmon oil was cited in the New England Journal of Medicine. Really good evidence-based science that proves that the products are tested and work. And Neolife also does a lot of work with the USDA, Center for Disease Control. They're very well respected in scientific circles. So Nada, do you want to give a summary of what we talked about tonight?
Absolutely. And you know, when I looked at this 33 years ago, I mean, I knew that I had to make a change. And even though I was eating healthy and I was exercising, you know, there were still certain things that were missing. So we need to look at everything, not just supplementation. Okay. So exercise, like eating a cleaner diet, like Mary Ellen talked about, you know, managing your weight, and then trusting Neolife's whole food supplements to fill the nutritional gaps, what's missing in our diet. And that's why, you know, I'm so, I really appreciate the whole philosophy behind Neolife, because it's all about lifestyle. It's not just about taking the magic pill. Okay, so eat the best you can, eat as clean as you can, but as you know, and as you can see, there's still certain things that are just missing in our diet. So Neolife has a total health and wellness solution to fill the nutritional gaps, and just a couple of extra things, like for joint pain. Like I had a lot of knee problems, and I know Shelley did as well. And, you know, I added something like Full Motion with the extra fish oil that really made a difference in my joint pain. Same with my mom, who had a lot of arthritis in her fingers and fibromyalgia. And, you know, by adding a few other things, filling the nutritional gaps, she was able to manage some of the other health challenges that she was having. So, you know, we talked about the hormone recipe, the breakfast pack, the vitality pack. So those are all base core nutrition. And then you can always build on some of those, like Mary Ellen talked about digestion and yeast issues. We have an amazing yeast cleanse with something as simple as garlic and acidophilus. So these are just some of the health solutions that we have. So some of you are saying, well, how do I get a hold of these products, right? What's really nice about, we have a wellness club. And to join the wellness club, it's free. And when you join, you automatically get a 15% discount on the products. You can also set up an auto delivery where you get 25 to 30% off your products. And when you stay on auto delivery, you get all your shipping back. So it's like a loyalty program the company put together. For example, that vitamin pack, the Vitality Pack, is a month supply. So if you take one pack a day, you want that coming every month. You get wholesale price, and they give you all your shipping back in 6 months, and you can spend that money on other products. There's also a referral program, whereas if you refer 3 people to one of those health packs, your pack is free every single month. We also have different challenges, like fitness challenges and weight loss challenges if you are struggling with your weight. And these are the different health packs that we talked about. So the Vitality Pack is our basic pack. And the breakfast pack is the most popular pack, because that includes a protein shake. And you have the 2 cans of protein and the 1 box of vitamins, because again, that's a month's supply. So if you have that on auto delivery, you get wholesale price. If you introduce 3 people to that, yours is free every single month. And then there's the Shape Up Pack, which is our weight loss pack. Okay. And that's because you're doing 2 protein shakes a day. You're doing them for breakfast and for lunch. That's a little more of an aggressive way of losing weight if you're looking at something a little more serious. But again, the breakfast pack is definitely the best seller and a great base core nutrition to get a head start in balancing and regulating your hormones. We also have an incredible Facebook group. It's called Healthy Living Community North America. As you can see, we have over 7,000 members already. This is a great community where people share stories, testimonials, there's video interviews of so many different health topics, science. There's some interviews and some videos on our scientists speaking. So it's a great community. So if you'd like to learn more about the nutrition and the science and stories and testimonials, just ask whoever invited you to tonight, and we can add you to this incredible Facebook support group. Then there's one more option, and this is something that I was not interested in at all 33 years ago. You know, being a police officer, working shift work, I didn't have a lot of time, so I couldn't see the business right away, but I got really excited about sharing the products. And I just wanted to help others. So I just started to share with my mom, my sisters, my aunts, my, you know, people that I worked with, and then neighbors, and then they started to share. And eventually I realized that this was something that I wanted to do as some forever, and just keep sharing and build something where I could leave my job. My job became more of a struggle, and I wanted more time freedom. So after sharing and building, I decided to become a promoter and share and just help to end the trend of chronic disease. So if you would like to be a part of this mission, just ask how to get involved in the business. We work together as a team. You know, you can make an extra $500 a month, 1,000, 5,000 or more, and make it a career like myself. But again, in time, some people are, you know, an extra $500 a month would make a world of difference. So again, there's different ways that you can do this. And what I really enjoyed is the online training, the support. You don't do this by yourself. We work together as a team. As you can see, there's many of us on this evening, and this is for you guys, and you can bring people to these events. You can share these presentations with other people. So the sharing and the support is absolutely incredible. So it's very, very possible to build an incredible business. So again, it's been over 33 years for me. I was able to leave my job, and my husband was able to leave his job as well after being on the police force for 15 years. So it's been an incredible journey. And I know, Mary Ellen, you know, you're building a great business, and you were able to leave your job as well at a very, very early age.
Yeah, Nada, like you, I was just looking to help my family, but I just found there were so many people who were asking me what we were doing, and I started sharing, and they all started getting great results. And before I knew it, I started, you know, doing sort of a part-time income, and I had a great job at a law firm, but I had no time at all. And I just found that I really enjoyed helping people and sharing Neolife. It was so easy to do. And I built it up till I left my job at the law firm. So it was great. And now Henry's retired, and we're enjoying life. And even with COVID, we're not affected at all. And this business is so residual that, you know, like, you can go and sit on a beach and still enjoy the benefits.
Absolutely. And again, most of you have joined us tonight to share the products, and you know, are looking at, you know, getting started on maybe one of the health packs or breakfast pack, or if you're looking at generating a part-time income or full-time income, we welcome you. Just ask us how to get started. We can help you with that as well. And if you're not ready at all, that's okay. You know, we're always here to help and support and share. We do these sessions regularly, and if you're ever curious and have any other questions, please feel free to reach out and ask us. So I'm going to stop the recording so we can answer any questions that you may have. And I want to thank you again for joining us on this incredible talk, and thank you everybody for sharing your story.